that comes up, this topic comes up all the time. My clients in my program ask about it, especially new clients ask about it all the time, and people, ask for tips, and I will even say sort of complain about this component, but I want to talk to you about water. Like, what is the deal with all the water? And I know you've probably seen a million people like post and talk about like, if you're going to get healthy and you're going to lose weight, you need to drink more water. And there are all kinds of differing opinions about like how much water should you drink and all that jazz. So I'm all about like, why should I do something? Tell me why I need to do it. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about first. So I'm going to give you like 4 or 5 reasons that are like just really solid reasons that you should give a crap about for why you should drink water. Why is it that every health coach, personal trainer, nutritionist, all the like healthy like advocates, why do they tell you to drink water? So I'm going to give you like 5, let me see. I think I have 5 things I wrote down. Like I was trying to decide what are the most important, because I could go on and on about this forever. So I'm going to give you 5 reasons to drink water. Some of them you will care more about than others. And then I'm going to give you a few tips for how to increase your water intake. And this came up in one of my program groups right now. Some of the folks are like brand new, and they're talking about how like, oh my goodness, it's really hard for some people. Hey, Brenda, how are you? We will chat in just a little bit. Some of the newer folks are like, oh my gosh, this water intake it can be hard. And when people first start to try to drink more water, it can be a challenge. I'm like, no joke. It sounds like it's a simple thing to do, but the reality is it can be super difficult. I was one of those people who, before I started worrying about like getting healthy and losing weight and doing all the things and like learning all the things, when I realized that, I really had to start worrying about upping my water game, like you guys, I did not drink any water. I say this all the time. I need to stop using this phrase. Y'all, I shit you not. I did not drink water. Like I went straight from the coffee pot to the Pepsi. That was my cocaine was Pepsi. And I literally went from one to the other, and I could go days without drinking water. I look back on that and it horrifies me now, but that's the truth. I lived my life like that. So when I started really working on upping my water intake, I had some struggles. So I completely understand when my clients tell me that they're struggling with this. So let me tell you a couple of reasons why you need to drink water. One is, and this is one that if you're focused on or you have goals to lose weight, it's going to be really important to you. One is that drinking more water really helps you to control your calorie intake. It is absolutely the truth that if you are taking in more water, you will feel more satisfied, you will feel fuller, and it will keep you from eating as much food. I mean, bottom line, so many of my clients and so many of the women I talk to want to lose weight. I mean, like, what better reason can you have for drinking more water than to reduce the amount of calories that you're taking in? So that's one perfectly solid research-backed reason. You will eat fewer calories if you drink more water. So that's a reason you should do it. Another reason you should do it is if, as we get older, if you're concerned about muscle tone and you want to not be as flabby and gishy and swishy, and you want to be a little more solid and toned looking and even feel more energized, water helps you with the balance of fluids in your muscles. And so I'm not going to get too sciencey about this, but the bottom line is the more water you drink, the less your muscles will be fatigued. And when your muscles are fatigued, they take up the water and they shrink, the muscle shrinks. So you will look, I'm just going to say it, like you've seen women who are getting older who look like shrunken and shriveled. in terms of their muscle tone, and they started getting more flabbier, not more flabby, but flabbier. Part of that has to do with how the chemical reaction that happens in your body when your muscles don't have the water that they need to stay like poofy and like muscular looking. It shrinks your muscles. So drink more water. A third reason, this is number 3, is that, and again, I'm not going to get like really sciencey on you with this one, but it has to do with like the balance of fluids in your system. Excuse me. So our bodies, and this is, I'm just going to give you a kind of a range because different people have different opinions on this. Our bodies are made up of about 60% water. So we really need to, our bodies need that water in order to like do the things that it does in terms of functioning. Excuse me. And what happens is if you don't have enough water in your system, and that's, that was what we call dehydration, then your brain communicates that to your kidneys, and you don't have enough water for your brain to make that communication to your kidneys that everything is fine and so function as normal. So things like your kidneys, your digestion, all of that stuff starts to try to perform on less water, and it's less effective. So that's probably not explained really super well, but the bottom line is, in order for your brain to communicate with the rest of your body and your vital organs and those systems that things are like okay and continue to function as normal, you've got to have enough water for that to happen. So that's your third reason. Number 4, and this is one, if you don't care about anything else, but you're concerned about like looking old and haggard, you should care about this. Your skin. Your skin has to have water so that it doesn't look like dry and wrinkly. When your systems, the functions in your body, the vital functions that keep you alive, don't have enough water to effectively and efficiently perform those functions, like your digestion, your kidneys, and all of those kinds of things, then what happens is your brain tells your body, you've got to get that water somewhere, because our first rule of thumb is to keep this human alive. So it's going to pull water from places that are not as vital to your survival. Well, your body does not have to have plumped up skin. It can live with wrinkles, right? It can live with dry skin to some extent. So the brain tells the body, pull it from the skin. Use it for the digestion, because she's got to be able to get rid of the toxins in her bowel movements. So it pulls from areas that are less vital for survival, and it pushes it to areas that are more vital, and you have to have those functions performed for you to survive. So that's why, in a very simplified explanation, that's why your skin will look much more wrinkled and drier if you don't get enough hydration. So up your water if you want if you don't care about losing weight, you don't care about anything else, if you want your face to look less wrinkly and dry, drink more freaking water. And finally, and this is a big issue with my clients and most of the women who I talk to, as females, and I'm going to get a little TMI here, we stay constipated like a majority of the time. If you are stressed, if you are busy, if you like function as a human female in this world, a majority of you are constipated, and you have dealt with issues around bowel movement issues forever. And so a reason that happens is that when your body is not hydrated, again, just like pulling from your skin, the next thing it's going to go to is things like your digestive tract, and your colon is going to pull hydration from your stool to use it for more vital survival kinds of processes in your body. And so when that happens, when it pulls that water from your stool, then I'm just going to say it, y'all, your shit gets stiff. And when it's hard, like a rock, and it's trying to come out because it has to come out, you get constipated. And that's where the pain comes from. That's where the hemorrhoids come from. That's where all the constipated kind of side effects come from. So there's your fifth reason for drinking water. You want to be able to like pass those number twos without like bleeding. Literally, it happens, without having to go to the doctor and have hemorrhoid surgery. So those are 5 good reasons for drinking water. Now, I'm going to tell you that even though I know it's tough in the beginning, and the biggest complaint that I get is my clients will tell me when I start trying to up my water, or, you know, now that I am upping my water, like I'm going pee all day long. I'm getting up and having to go pee through the night, and it's driving me crazy, yada, yada, yada. I feel like I'm drowning. I have water up to my eyeballs, all of those kinds of things. That is true. That is going to happen if your body has been operating in a dehydrated mode especially for a very long time, and then you start hydrating it, your body doesn't know like how to react, and so it kind of freaks out in the beginning, and the first thing it does is like excrete the water, like you piss it out, because your body doesn't know how to effectively use it because it's not been used to getting the water. So that's why you have to go to the bathroom. You have to go pee so often when you first start trying to drink water. And sometimes people will let the negative side effects, the negative feelings, like the feelings of being full, the feeling of having to go pee every time I turn around, not wanting my sleep disrupted, all of those kinds of things will cause some people to quit drinking the water, when that is the absolute worst thing you can do. Just like everything else, I tell my clients, consistency, time, and patience. Stick with it, because what happens is, in the beginning, your body says, oh, well, I don't need this, and it pees it out. But as you train it to understand that, hey, she's going to actually start giving us the hydration we need for bowel movements, for our kidney, and all of the other like functions that you need to survive, then we can start pushing some of that water to her skin and to her cells and to her muscles. And so it slowly begins this process of more effectively utilizing the water that it was pissing out. So it is a short-term sort of irritating kind of negative consequence of increasing your water, but it is short term, because as your body starts using the water more effectively and efficiently, you have to pee less because it's being absorbed in the cells. It's being absorbed in your face. Your wrinkles are like, not as noticeable. Your digestion is better. Your colon isn't pulling it. Your colon is using the water. So your body learns to regulate and use it in the processes that it needs it for, and then you have to pee less. I promise. So the next thing people ask me, and if you guys are watching, hey Rebecca, how are you? If you guys are watching this after the fact and you have questions about anything that I've said, just drop a comment and tag me, and I will come back and ask you. But some of the, and I could go on and on about tips about how to increase your water. And if you have tips, certainly drop them in the comments here for other people. But I'm just going to give you a few, like kind of simple things that you can do to try to increase your water. One of the first things I did was, when we went out to eat, I made it a rule that I did not order anything. I didn't order soda. I cut out all sodas. I only drank water if we went out to eat. So it was like a trade-off for me, right? It was something that I could say, okay, this is one way that I'm going to make a trigger. If we're getting the treat of going out to eat, I'm only going to drink water. It also saves you money when you do that, and you get more water in. Another thing you can do is make sure that you are drinking water at every snack and every meal. So every time you eat food, you just make it a rule, so that it becomes habit, that you drink water anytime you're putting food in your face. So just like, I promise, I solemnly swear that I will drink water every time I feed my face with food. I promise you, if you do that, you will get more water in, because you'll be surprised at how often you stuff your face with food. If you're putting water in there every time, not only are you going to get more water, but you're going to eat less at every snack and every meal too. Another thing, you can eat more fruits and vegetables, which benefit to that too. but there are fruits and vegetables have more water concentration in them as a natural food source anyway. So the more you eat of that instead of some of the other processed kinds of packaged foods, you're going to, as a byproduct of eating more fruits and vegetables, you're going to get more water. Like, think about like things like cabbage, things like watermelon. They're predominantly made up. They have a huge water component in them. So when you ingest those, you're going to add water to your system intake. Now, that's not how I'm not saying it's okay for you to only get your water from the food that you take in. No, you need to drink water. And I talk to my clients about how much all the time. But that is a tip and a kind of a trick to get your body to ingest more water is add more fruits and vegetables. And like I said, you get a lot of benefits from that from a nutrition standpoint anyway. Also, so the other thing is using a reusable water bottle, especially now, this is a much easier tip to incorporate since so many people are working from home. It's easier to refill a reusable water bottle. And you can kind of track, like if you have a 25-ounce bottle, you can sort of set a goal of like refilling it, drinking 4 of those over the course of the day. And then here's a tip to add on to that. Set a timer or some kind of an alarm on your phone for, spread out times over the course of the day and the evening to give yourself a reminder to make sure, have I drank that first 25 ounces? Now it's time to get another one. And so you could just kind of build in little triggers that will then turn into habits for you. I'll tell you one that one of my clients started using a few years ago, which I thought was a brilliant idea. She didn't use a water bottle. She opted to use bottles of water. So like she would buy cases of water and use bottles of water. She would take out, and I have used this when I was going to the office a lot. I used this in my office. I used this strategy. She would take out like however many bottles of water. So if it's a 20-ounce bottle that you buy in the disposables, for example, I would take out 5 of those 20-ounce bottles, and then with a Sharpie, I would number them 1 through 5. And I left them on my desk. And we can go into the pros and cons of drinking cold water versus room temperature water, but that's for another day. And I will just leave it at this. I prefer room temperature water. I don't put ice in my water. And again, I can talk about the pros and cons of how that actually works in your system to make your metabolism run more efficiently. But for now, I'll just say number your water bottles 1 through 5, disposable, and then you have a really simple way of keeping track of how much water you've drank. If you have 5 of them or 4 of them, and you number them 1 through 4 or 1 through 5, then you've gotten your 100 or 120 or whatever ounces of water that you're aiming for the day. You've gotten them in. So there you go. Tips for drinking water, reasons you need to drink it. They're not like woo-woo or like sciencey or fit freak. It's, if you don't care about any of that stuff, but you just want your face as we get older to look younger and not be wrinkled and haggard and dry, freaking drink water. So I love you guys, but I have an appointment to talk with someone who's interested in spending more time working on her health. So I'm going to jump off of here so I can jump on that one-on-one call with her. And I will talk to you guys later. If you watch this on replay, please drop replay in the comments and let me know. Whatever was most helpful to you, I would love to know if there was a tip here that you will use in the future. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye, Rebecca. Bye.